Hi, my name is Barry Brandon, more known as the Queer Indigo on social media, and this is my queer journey. I would say that my queerness is very much a center of everything that I do. I find that my life, my personal life, my work, my passion, and pretty much everything that I'm involved in revolves around queerness, either from my own point of view on certain content that I produce, or amplifying other queer people for collaborations and features and bookings and opportunities that I have access to amplify other people that are in situations where they want to get their art out there and kind of keep pushing the queer agenda, basically, which I think is just freedom of the mind and body autonomy. So I think my queerness is the center of my artistic vision, and it's often intersectional with all of the work that I do. I shouldn't say often, I think it always is intersectional for the work that I do and the work that I create. I don't really think about what I think people will like or not like. I think I just follow my intuition, and I want to have fun and collaborate and once again amplify and uplift and try to showcase people that are in my sphere, in my world, whether it's the city that I'm in or if I'm traveling to a certain city, to amplify voices and people that are in that specific community and space. So I find that just maintaining my point of view and my vision, I guess, is the simplest way to remain authentic, because I don't really let the outside noise come into play. I kind of just wear what I want and do what I want, and yeah. What inspires me to remain bold in my self-expression, I would say, has a lot to do with my childhood and growing up in hospitals. This is something that I didn't really connect until I was older, where I kind of realized that I was very aware that tomorrow might not occur or happen or be there, however you want to phrase it. And I remember feeling very, just consciously aware, because it was also those around me that were in other hospital rooms that were undergoing surgeries as well. Some of them didn't make it. And so I had this strange reality check that tomorrow wasn't promised. And I think a piece of my non-fuckery, the fact that I just don't care what other people think of me, I think a piece of it started then. And it kind of was instilled and got stronger as my sense of self and my queerness became more centered. I think that sort of became a weapon, and a very powerful weapon, that I don't really struggle with the concept of someone having some kind of power over me for the way that they feel about me, or what they think, or what they say, or the comments that happen on social. I sort of just ignore it and tune out the noise. And I think it's one of my superpowers, I would say. Yeah. The mission of We Create Space, that I feel the most excited about and aligned with, is just their devotion and intentionality to building community. The climate continues to be against our community in many ways, culturally, socially, religiously. In certain governments in certain countries, they keep passing laws that are making us less and less and less protected. And it's just so important, until now, still now, and probably the foreseeable long-term future, that we need to create community and bridge gaps of safety as much as we can to remain aligned on a community-driven level. Otherwise, we feel we're out in the world alone. We don't have a safer space to go to. Actually, there are a lot of cities and countries in the world that don't have any safer spaces to begin with. So in a digital world, I appreciate the fact that they are offering a digital community space. In an in-person world, I appreciate so much that they're offering in-person events that are happening in multiple cities. And I just appreciate that We Create Space does a lot of these things. It's really great work. Well, honestly, my goal of my impact that I have on the queer community is that I become eventually irrelevant, as in no one has to remember that I existed, because in the world in which that people would be living in, the importance of being visible, being expressive, wearing heels, wearing quote unquote women's clothing. For me, clothing doesn't have a gender, but I'm using this in the context of heteronormativity. I hope that it becomes so normalized, because it is, that the work that I do becomes irrelevant and doesn't matter. I would say currently, while I'm still on this planet, I hope that the work that I do is a reflection and a mirror to let people know that it's okay to be soft with yourself, invite femininity and masculinity into your life together, because I think inside of us all is both. And I think when we accept the fact that there is fluidity in this intersectionality of masculinity and femininity, it allows us to participate in a way that we're more present in our lives and how we show up in the world in all areas, in personal lives, professional lives, and relationships, because people are receiving more us. You know, people have said to me, I look up to you, I want to wear heels, I want to do this, and I always say, if you want to do that, that's great, but my goal of the work and the content is not to get people to want to dress like me or look like me. It's a mirror and an extension to let them look at what my friends and I are doing and do it in their own way and their own comfort. And it's not about, if you don't want to wear heels and you never wanted to put them on, all of a sudden putting them on and thinking that you need to do that to be queer. It's about allowing yourself to just be more open, more fluid, and more expressive, and more comfortable and confident in yourself. And I think you can find your own self-expression within the allowance of this into your life. So I guess I would say, I hope the content and the work is sort of a mirror and allows people to see that there's more than one way to express, and that you can find your own personal self-expression through inner work. We come into this world and we're molded a lot by who raises us or the environment in which that we're raised in. And oftentimes it's not through queer exposure. It's not through the queer community or queer idols or people to look up to that are openly queer. And because of this, we can create walls and second guessing who we are because it was unsafe for us to be that way. And so we create almost a protective facade around who we are, and rightfully so, to keep us protected. And I wish that that wasn't there. And another thing that I hope that people can maybe receive from the work or the content is the affirmation of self to forgive what we didn't know when we were younger, so we can live more truly now. What my message would be to queer people who have an opportunity and the privilege of residing and living in spaces that are safe enough to be open and visible, my recommendation would be to consider being visible and being out. Because the sheer number of us as we live more openly, that exposure will amplify, I believe, and could make a sort of faster journey for our community, because exposure will amplify and speed up the process of how normalized that it is that we exist, how normal that we actually are. And when we hide, when we're in spaces where we are able to be out, when we hide and have that internalized homophobia, internalized femphobia, internalized queerphobia, I think we're doing a disservice to potential massive change for culture globally when we hide. So I would say for those that can be out, I would just love for you to consider being out and being visible. I think you'll help the culture of the world. That's what I would say.